Today, we bring you our stew episode.
Lots of bits and pieces that make a great meal we call the campus edge. The semester is winding down for us and probably has ended by the time you're watching this.
We had so many students this semester, we couldn't air all of their stories in our first 6 shows.
So you get to enjoy 2 bonus episodes of The Campus Edge with some conditions.
Mainly, some of these stories will be out of time, like our next 2 from reporter Evan Sinclair. The first shows you how to enjoy spring break.
His suggestions will work year-round, so pay attention.
Spring break is a time of year when high school students and college students alike get to take a full week off from school, right in the middle of the semester. So, what are some things you can do during your spring break? Well, first there's the most obvious one, and that's to go on a vacation. Go kick it on the beach or go skiing in the slopes. I mean, it's really up to you where you go on your vacation, but a vacation can be loads of fun. However, not everyone can afford a vacation. So we got 2 more options that are a little more cost effective. Our first option is to play some video games with your friends. That's right. If you just want to kick back, relax, and have some fun times with your friends, video games are a great option. They provide escapism for tons of people, and they really are a great way at getting out of your daily mundane life. Now, our other option that's more cost effective is to pick up a new hobby. I have plenty, so I can't afford to pick up any more. But let's go over some of mine. One hobby you can get into very quickly over the span of a week is trading card games. They're lots of fun, and if you have a local card shop, you can have a blast, and I'm sure somebody there would love to teach you how to play their favorite game. Another hobby option is to get into Rubik's Cubes. Rubik's Cubes can be very difficult to solve at the beginning, but once you get the hang of it, you'll be solving them in no time. Another hobby you can get into is collecting. There's plenty of different items to collect, from spoons to coins to pins. I mean, you could collect almost anything nowadays. Anyways, I've been Evan Sinclair with The Campus Edge.
Our next blast from the past, also from Evan Sinclair, deals with packing and hiding Easter eggs.
How in the world will the audience be able to use this story?
Well, you've heard of Christmas in July? Well, how about Easter in June? We could start a whole new holiday for stores to exploit.
Here are some things to consider when you're packing eggs this Easter. 1. The size of the object. If an object is too big, it won't fit in the egg. 2. How squishy the object is. Squishier objects allow you to fill the egg with more food. 3. If the item is packaged. No one wants food that's been sitting loose in an egg all morning. Now, when you're hiding eggs, there are some things you should remember. First of all, if you have small children, it's best to just spread the eggs out on the ground, as they might have a harder time finding them if they're actually hidden. As for older children, you should hide the eggs in simple spots where they can easily find them. Try using some spots like these. And if you're hiding eggs for children who are in their younger teens or young adults, I recommend hiding them in trickier or harder to reach spots. I've been Evan with The Campus Edge.
If you like the first 2 stories, we've got 4 more coming up after these classic messages.
Time to think about dinner, and I haven't even eaten breakfast yet. It takes a lot of passion to make the perfect meal. But today is one day closer to becoming a chef and owning my own restaurant. It's going to be a great day and an even better tomorrow.
At Butler Community College, your tomorrow is closer than you think. Enroll now for classes. Butler Community College. Let's take tomorrow.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
It's that time. Time for caffeine. Time to remember why I'm up at this hour. Training and preparing for when things heat up. So when that alarm goes off, I'll be there to help. Everything I'm doing today is going to make all the difference for tomorrow.
At Butler Community College, your tomorrow is closer than you think. Enroll now for classes. Butler Community College. Let's take tomorrow.
Drew, February was just a couple months away. And when I think of February, I think of Imbolc.
You mean the ancient Celtic festival honoring the goddess, the Saint Brigid? The one that marks the beginning of the spring?
But of course, reporter Kallahan Mielenz filed a report in January, but better now than never.
Did you know that there's more than one holiday you can celebrate in February? Well, there is. It's called Imbolc. Imbolc is a Gaelic festival traditionally celebrated between February 1st and February 2nd. It's a celebration of early spring, lying just in between the winter solstice and the spring equinox. It's a time for purification, honoring the Celtic goddess Brigid and celebrating the renewal of nature. Imbolc is a fire festival, so a great way to celebrate is by lighting candles or starting a bonfire. This year was my first time celebrating Imbolc, and so I decided to document it and show you all what I did to celebrate.
My first form of celebration was very simple, and most importantly, free. I decided to walk in nature and look at some early signs of spring. Of course, today it was very, very snowy, so there wasn't much spring to look at, but it was still really nice to go outside and see what our parks in El Dorado have in store. An important part of Imbolc is creativity, as it's one of the things that Goddess Brigid represents. So I decided to put my creativity to the test and do a page in my grimoire, all about fairies. My very last form of celebration, of course, had to do with candles. Luckily, today's Imbolc was also the full moon, so I decided to do a moonlit ritual. I couldn't light actual candles because I live in a dorm room, so I used some fake ones, and then in a jar I put some milk, some moon water, some rose petals to represent spring, some amethyst to represent new beginnings, and some cinnamon to represent protection. I then decided to write my intentions for springtime and the rest of my year on some bay leaves and soak them in the concoction.
I hope you all learned something new today and maybe even felt inspired to celebrate Imbolc yourselves. I'm Kallahan Mielenz with the Campus Edge, signing off.
Another great celebration in February is Valentine's Day, also celebrating a well-known person.
You mean St. Valentine, the 3rd century martyr executed by the Roman Emperor Claudius II?
No, I mean Willy Wonka and all those other candy merchants that are responsible for making America the #3 country for diabetes in the world.
Actually, I am right, but you do have a point. In any case, reporter Peter Harrison conducted a taste test of popular holiday candies, and here's his findings.
I'm reporter Peter Harrison, and today we're having an epic candy clash to determine which Valentine's Day candy is the best. Starting off with our first contestant is Chewy Sweet Tarts.
Alright, I'm gonna try all.
It's very chewy. It's a bit strong with the flavor. Reminds me of Skittles. That's how I would say. But higher caliber Skittles.
Sweet Tarts, classic, very good, pretty good. I like the general sour candy.
This wouldn't be a go-to because it takes a long time to consume.
Our next contestant is mini sugar cookies.
So we have a cookie here.
Alright.
It's soft and tasty. That's not bad.
I mean, it tastes fine. It's just a pretty bland cookie.
Below average.
Our next contestant is Twizzlers.
Twizzler. It's got just the right amount of flavor.
A little on the tough side. Something to chew on. Then it's okay.
Next up, we have Lindor Truffles.
delicious.
Delicious. Still really good. I like it.
Thought at the beginning of this, so this would be my favorite.
Lastly, we have a box of assorted chocolates.
Coconut.
Feels like it melts right into your.
That one was also good. I did like that one. I like this better than the Lindor chocolate.
Let's see which one comes out on top.
But if I had to pick a favorite, I would probably go with the indoor chocolate.
I mean, like I said, classic Lev Lindor. These are good. But all in all, my favorite was the coconut and the sweet tart cherries.
But it was the caramel chocolate.
We ended with a tie between the assorted chocolates and Lindor truffles. So make sure to get those for your significant other this Valentine's Day. And that concludes today's Candy Clash for the Campus Edge.
Women in Film are next on this bonus edition of the Campus Edge. Please keep watching.
Here we go, another day, another early start with lots of stops. And it goes. But today is one day closer to working normal hours, earning more money, paying off bills, and making my girls proud. I can do this. Today might be tough, but tomorrow will be better.
At Butler Community College, your tomorrow is closer than you think. Enroll today for spring classes. Butler Community College. Let's take tomorrow.
Brett was forced to change, becoming another statistic to the economy. But he knew he didn't have to be another number. Butler gave Brett the power to retrain as an individual. So, at 44, Brett found the power of personal attention, small class size, and an education at half the cost. For Brett, those are the sort of numbers that kept him from becoming one. Brett found a fresh start at 44. He discovered his power at Butler. How will power change you?
Did you know that half of all people in the world are women?
Actually, only 49.7 to 49.8% of humans are women, but it's certainly enough to deserve the whole month of March as Women's History Month.
Reporter Jackson Perkins created this story on its history, recognition, and impact on contemporary society.
From March 1st to March 31st, we celebrate Women's History Month as it began as a local celebration in Santa Rosa, California. The Education Task Force of the Sonoma County Commission on the Status of Women planned and executed a Women's History Week celebration in 1978. The organizers selected the week of March 8th to correspond with International Women's Day. The movement spread across the country as other communities initiated their own Women's History Week the following year. In 1980, a consortium of women's groups and historians led by the National Women's History Project, now known as the National Women's History Alliance, successfully lobbied for national recognition. In February 1980, President Jimmy Carter issued the first presidential proclamation declaring the week of March 8th, 1980 as Women's History Week. Subsequent presidents continued to proclaim a National Women's History Week in March until 1987, when Congress passed Public Law 100-9, designating March as Women's History Month. Between 1988 and 1994, Congress passed an additional resolution requesting and authorizing the president to proclaim March of each year as Women's History Month. Since 1995, each president has issued an annual proclamations designating the month of March as Women's History Month. This is Jackson Perkins from Campus Edge, signing off.
Our last story looks at changes in one of my favorite pastimes, film.
Mine too, that's why I filed it. Someday I'd like to make more feature-length films, even if they are on video files.
Our own Dr. West and Ian Bailey talked about the changes in modern media, both film and news. Here's their thoughts.
In an industry like media where it's constantly changing, it is good to learn what was and what will be. Today we have Keith West, who is an expert on all things film and radio, and Ian Bailey, who is an expert on commercial forms of media like news, to tell us how has media changed over the last 20 years.
If you look at me from the standpoint of when I first watched films, I've been in the industry all my life. Where I see film changing is in its distribution and reception.
The biggest change cinema has seen in distribution was most definitely COVID.
People got used to watching the new movies at home the way that they were doing the on-demand movies from like Hulu or whatever.
For Ian, the biggest changes were most definitely in equipment.
I remember I was at Fox 17, I think it was like my third year, it was the early like 2010s, where we made the adjustment from standard definition to high definition. So we built a new studio and everything went from 4:3 to 16:9. And I remember that was such a big change because everybody was selling their square TVs and buying, you know, what you see now is the long rectangle 16:9 television sets. When I first started in news, huge over-the-shoulder ENG style cameras. The lights were heavy and hot and now we've really gone to a way where technology's gotten smaller. You have the SLR style cameras and light kits have gotten a lot smaller and everything's gotten a lot cheaper. Right now I travel basically with the full studio when I get on an airplane and it's just a couple of bags.
Andrew Wiele with Campus Edge, signing off.
Nice job, Andrew. And that goes for all of our reporters featured on this episode.
On behalf of the whole team, thanks. If you liked today's episode, check out past episodes of the Campus Edge on our YouTube channel, Arktos Moving Images.
We have another bonus episode coming up, then our final show for the season. Remember, this is
the Campus Edge.